I'm delighted to be joined on the Alternative Show today by Fabio AKA Another Abyss. He's here to chat about his music and play us some songs. Hello, how are you?
Hey Chris, so nice to finally talk to you. Thanks for having me. I'm great. How are you?
You're very welcome. I'm very well, thank you. To start us off with, can you tell us where you're from and where you're currently based?
Yes, I'm from Ludwigsburg. That's in South Germany, born and raised. And I never really went away, so South Germany.
How did your journey into the musical world all start?
You know, I started playing guitar and bass when I was about 12 and joined my first band when I was 14. And, you know, of course, I was playing in my school's band. So from the beginning, I was learning different genres, you know, to the genres I was listening to. So I was listening to a lot of grunge. New metal was hot at the time and I liked it. And the school band just gave me a broader look on music because, of course, we played Beatles, we played classic rock, blues rock, and I'm happy I took that with me. And you know, I'm 34 now, so a lot of time to play with different people, and I've made some great music over the years. But most of the bands, you know, never really had a long shelf life for different reasons. Sometimes people just want different things out of music. And sometimes it's life that ends a great thing. You know, people evolve, move to different places for work, for school. Most of my bands ended that way. And, you know, I met many great people that I'm still friends with, and working together in music is just a special kind of bond, I guess. So I cherish the memories with them. And, you know, when the pandemic happened, I, like all of us, had a lot of time to think about what I wanted to do with music. And I've written so many demos over the years, you know, lyrics that didn't really fit into the grunge metal bands I was in. So I guess it was just a matter of starting it, I guess, you know, just trying it, writing, recording everything by myself. And it's pretty much how I started with Another Abyss.
Okay, perfect. Who thought of the name Another Abyss and why did you choose it?
That would be me. You know, the name comes from the Bad Religion song, To Another Abyss. I just love Bad Religion, and it's one of my favorite songs, and the name just stuck with me over the years. And when it, you know, came to choosing a name for the project, it just fit the mood I was going for, I guess.
I think it's a great name. Okay. How would you describe your sound?
You know, lots of inspiration came from the UK post-punk of the 80s. Bands like, of course, Joy Division, Rosetta Stone, Sad Lovers and Giants, or The Cure. But also Pink Turns Blue from Germany. So I would say most of my songs could be described as post-punk or cold wave inspired. But I know post-punk is a broad term, you know, with many different artists and sounds sharing it. So maybe you could say guitar wave that, I don't know, once attended a goth party and really liked it. I once heard someone say post-punk is punk going introvert. And I have no idea who said it, but it just works as a direction for me, I guess.
Perfect. Okay. Your recent EP release, Once More Without Feeling, has a very striking cover. Can you tell us who designed it and why you chose the image you did?
Yeah, the picture of the EP Once More Without Feeling is an old picture of me from a different electronic project I had with a friend back in the day when I was 16, I guess. So yeah, the guy in the gas mask is me. And I always liked that picture, but we never used it. The songs never got released. And it just sat on my hard drive, and 20 years later, I'm sitting on my couch looking through my files, exactly knowing what I'm looking for, because that's a picture I had in the back of my mind. I really liked it. So I found it, made the cover right then and there, and some app, I don't even remember the name, to be honest. The design itself is nothing new. You know, bands like Rosetta Stone, Television, Joy Division used that style, you know, the bold band name, picture, the title, and it can be seen as an homage to these bands, you know, that influenced me throughout my life.
It's really good. I think it's really striking, and it's great that you found another use for it for sure. So that's awesome.
Yeah, I was happy with that.
Yeah, I bet I would have been. Okay. I see you also have personally handmade merchandise available. Can you tell us how that came about?
Yeah, I sell patches. You know, these are made by a company here in Germany, and I sell T-shirts that I print myself. About 2 months ago, I did another Abyss shirt for myself, you know, just to have it, no intention of really selling it. And I put the picture up on Instagram, Facebook, and got some questions and messages if I ever will sell these. And, you know, so I thought I should at least look into it. And it's not cheap to print shirts. And, you know, you're almost forced to take like 50 or 100 to make sense financially. And so I dug a bit deeper and thought, you know, what can I do by myself, you know, to be able to react more flexible to orders. And so I learned to screen print by myself. I started with a few for me and my family, to get a grip on the best practice and how to make the print last. Wore them by myself, try to wash them as often as I could. And so in the end, I gained an additional skill, with screen printing, and I have to say it's really fun. So this also gives me the chance, to create more in the future when the time is right. Just do it all by yourself. I know what I'm sending out. I see the quality of the print before I send it to someone. If I don't like it, I don't send it out. I just give it to a friend of mine.
That's perfect. Have you got a little corner of your property where you got your screen printing all set up?
It's just the floor. It's just the floor in my office here. So a little setup for my floor, a little screen to print through it, and it works. It works.
They look incredible for sure.
Thank you.
Okay, you've got 3 songs to play for us. What's your first song choice and why have you chosen it?
The first song I've chosen is Become My Monster. It was the first song I recorded and released for Another Abyss.
What's your songwriting process?
It's different for most songs. Sometimes it starts with a guitar or bass riff I have in my head, or even a drum beat. And when I feel there's something more to it, I try to explore it, analyze where on the guitar I could play it, what key it maybe should be in. Most of the time, the first recording will be on my phone. Not even plugged into an amp with my guitar, just so I don't forget it. And afterwards, I record my ideas as basic tracks and start building from there. As a one-man project, jams at rehearsal are not really an option. So this is the next best thing to kind of jam with myself. It's not as sad as it sounds, Chris. My cat joins me sometimes, so it's fine, I guess. And with my basic track is structure done, I start layering, adding different instruments, working on transitions, playing around with different structures. It's fun, it's like a big puzzle for me where all the pieces kind of fit, but putting them together wrong may ruin the whole outcome. So I got to be careful with that. And I've written a lot of lyrics over the years, as I said, so start experimenting with them and try different phrasing, melodies when it comes time to put vocals over it. But more often than not, it just feels stiff, like it doesn't belong. And a lot of my writing process is me recording things and checking how I feel about them. It's kind of therapeutic. That's kind of the chaos system I got writing music, but it works.
Perfect. Well, as you've mentioned the cat and they're a contributor, do you want to give the cat a shout out?
Yeah, of course, my bear. I love you.
Brilliant. Do your songs have any consistent lyrical themes?
I wouldn't say consistent theme, but I guess they're all about hopelessness and dealing with inner thoughts. I try to write about things I experienced myself as much as I can draw the most inspiration from it. Without really thinking about it, it always leans towards a bit darker picture of life, I guess.
It ties in with the music, doesn't it?
Yeah. I guess it fits. It would be weird if the lyrics are very, very happy-go-lucky, I guess.
What DAW and musical instruments do you play or use?
That's a question I love too, Chris. I was happy when I saw that. So I love talking gear. So I will give a quick roundup of everything I use. The DAW I'm using is Studio 1.5 from PreSonus. It's just a solid piece of software, that has everything I need and even more things I don't understand. So yeah, I use it for everything, the recording, the mixing, the mastering afterwards. And that's pretty much everything I use. Of course, different VSTs to create sounds, different drum patches like modern 80s drums, which are just great sounding drums. And my main guitar is a Jazz Master I built myself. Building is a strong word. I put the pieces together to get the guitar I wanted, and it's great. It's based on a blacktop Jazz Master, single coil in the neck for the beautiful shiny sounds, and humbucker and the bridge for the more dirty stuff. I use it for almost everything. If I ever feel the need for something else, I'll double it with a Fender Telecaster. Just a basic stock Tele. Can never go wrong with that. And that's pretty much all the guitars I use. For bass, I mainly use a Fender Precision bass, just an old beat-up bass that just sounds fat, and it's awesome. I love it, and if I really need to get a bit deeper, I got a 5-string Stingray model just to get deeper. And maybe you see it's all Fender-style guitars, they just feel right for me. The neck, the scale length, I have huge hands, so more space is always welcome. And these are all the guitars I use. And effects-wise, I went digital a few years back, just to save my back from carrying all my stomp boxes to rehearsal or gigs. So I had a huge pedal board, just way too much, way too heavy. So now I just use the HX Stomp, which is my main effects station, and it also doubles as my recording device, with which I just track every instrument. So I got no real amps. I got real amps, but I don't use real amps for recording, which is fine because I like the sound I get out of them, and I really wouldn't be able to mic up my cabs here. So it's great for me. And for recording my voice, just the legendary Shure SM58S. That's pretty much everything I use. The S is important with the SM58S because I need to switch. I don't like just the sounds you get when you put it down.
Okay, moving on. Which recording studio do you currently use and why?
I record everything at home, in my corner I call studio. It's just for convenience, If I have an idea at any time of the day or night, I just can instantly start working on it. A huge studio is great, all the options, experiments you can do, different amps and mics, but I'm not sure that I wouldn't get lost, in all the potential and start noodling around for hours without being really focused on the most important part, the song itself. All the effects in the world doesn't help a bad song. So my setup is pretty bare bones, but I feel the limitations help me to get where I want to be, and at least they're not hindering me. So this works for me.
I love the word noodling.
yeah. It's just noodling. It's just there's no start, there's no end. Just a guitar illness, I guess.
Okay, perfect. And what approach do you use when you're recording?
I record everything separately, one after the other, and sometimes even keep changing the structure while recording. So writing and recording parts are kind of happening at the same time with some songs. First thing I always do is laying down a basic drum beat, programming just a simple kick, snare pattern to have a bass to build on, and the bass will go down next. Most of the time, bass is only one track, but there are parts where I just double the bass with a second chorus track or something to make it more spacey. Depends on what mood I'm going for. From there, it's whatever gives the song the melody, guitar, synth. And after I recorded all the parts, I will go back to the drums and give them an overhaul from the basic beat to the finished beat. And then the last thing that gets recorded is the vocals, always.
I like the fact you're using real instruments. I had a feeling you probably were when I was listening to the song the first time round.
I don't have space for drums, but everything else is, my guitar, just effects, basses. And, I'm coming from punk genre, from metal. I just like the wood, the real instrument in my hand, and it's just special. It's just a different thing.
Okay. What's your second song choice for us, and why have you chosen it?
The second song is Dead Flowers. It was the first kind of special release for me, as I made a lyric video for it, so I chose Dead Flowers. Still invisible to you. small story behind Dead Flowers. It's the name of an old band of my friend. He had a grunge band around here in Ludwigsburg. They were called Dead Flowers, and I loved them. So I had to pay homage to him, to Angelo, with the song Dead Flowers.
Perfect. What's been your favorite live performance experience?
I played live many times with different bands, but never with Another Abyss, as it will stay a one-man studio project, at least for the foreseeable future, we see. But I think my favorite live experience was also the weirdest one I've ever been in. I was playing a gig with my first band as an opener for a bigger death metal band when I was about 15 years old, I guess, which was really strange, as we leaned more, towards rock, even pop punk, I would say. So didn't really fit, but why not? We took it. The location was amazing. It was huge, amazing sound rigs, lights. We had a green room. It felt like we were rock stars at that moment. And as time came to get on stage, we noticed a severe lack of people in the crowd. Like the only people in the crowd were the people we came with and the crew. So it turns out all this great stuff. No one advertised the concert. Flyers were printed, but never given out to people. So that was that. But luckily, right next to the concert location, there was a Goa party, electro Goa. So we kind of went over and promoted it ourselves to the partygoers. And we thought, okay, nobody will come there. No, there's no way they're coming. And after, second or third song in front of 4 drunk people, just a wave of painted naked bodies wearing feathers, rushing in and just starting dancing weirdly to the punk. And it was by far the most chaos. But it was a party. It was the most fun gig I've ever played, by far.
It sounds like it. Did anyone record it?
No, sadly not. Sadly not. There are pictures, from the gig, but no video or sound recordings.
Oh, that's a shame.
It is.
Okay, sounds amazing. Okay. What's your hope and aspirations for your music?
To keep growing, to explore new sounds without losing the sound I just found for myself with Another Abyss, I guess, and that people are able to connect with it in some kind of way. If everyone that listens just can find one piece, one lyric that speaks to them, I'm already happy.
Perfect. And what's next for you this year?
I'm working on new songs constantly. I got a few demos ready for the final touches, and a new song will be coming out in the next weeks, I guess. So I'm working on finishing the next EP album and getting out the new stuff as soon as possible.
Okay, brilliant. What interests or hobbies do you have outside of music?
I love video games. I have to admit it. I always have since I got my first Game Boy, and there's no sign of stopping. So that's a constant in my life, definitely. And also I'm a big football fan, but American football. So I'm not a big soccer guy. I played soccer. I played in my youth. I was a goalkeeper. I was big. I was wide. I still love to play, but I can't watch it as a fan. So yeah, American football, it is just the tactical depth is, I guess, what keeps me watching. And, other than that, I just cherish the time where I just relax, listen to a podcast and maybe work on some of my guitars. These are the best moments for me, I guess.
I was a goalkeeper as well at school, funnily enough.
Yeah, I'm pretty big, I'm 2 meters, and I was wide back then. I was small and white, so it was a fitting position for me. I was just holding almost everything without really moving, so it was great.
Perfect. Okay, what's your final song choice for us, and why have you chosen it?
As the final song, I choose Black Cars. It's my latest release. It's a faster one, and I hope you will enjoy it.
It's certainly been on my show regularly. Thanks for joining me today. Let's keep in touch. All the best.
Thanks again for having me, Chris. It was great talking to you.
You're very welcome. That was Another Abyss, and this is their latest release, Black Cars.